I'm officially beginning session 0 and recording that session. So welcome to what I have titled Tellus, Creche. Tellus is the name of the world, the planet that your party finds themselves on, and Creche is the name of the continent on which you are operating. For your edification, Tellus is also a homebrew world that I built and I'm running multiple campaigns in right now. So you are operating in the same world that several other groups are playing in. However, you are operating at a different time than those other groups. So interestingly, or at least interestingly to me, the things that you all are encountering are being driven by things that are happening in the past with my other groups right now. So some of the decisions they make will have repercussions on what the world looks like for you here. So I'm kind of excited about that. One of the first things I think we want to do is introduce our characters. So I want to give you each a chance to put your character out on the table, tell everybody who they are. If you don't have your character fully fleshed out right now, there's nothing wrong with saying, here's what I know about them, here's what I don't. You'll get to know these characters as you interact with each other, and that's part of the fun of playing D&D. I do have some ground rules for D&D. I'll share them as we go, but the first one that's important to say right off the bat is this game is only fun if your characters are all here to be together. So if in the back of your mind you're like, I brought a character that is a lone wolf and doesn't give a shit about anybody at this table, and he doesn't even know why he's part of this group, that character should see their way out immediately. We all need to agree that it's fun to play this game together. Otherwise, you're going to end up being the banker in Monopoly that doesn't actually have a game piece. So as you introduce your character, I'd also like you to be thinking about, and as you hear other people's character descriptions, be thinking about what are some of the things that you think tie your character to these people, and what, there doesn't have to be like a blatant commonality, like, I've decided you're my sister, but like, why are these people hanging out? Why does your character spend time with these characters? And we'll talk about that as a group, because you all will decide that, not me. My job is to drop you in the middle of weird shit. So, who wants to introduce their character first?
I can go.
All right, Edgelord, go for it.
So, my character's name is Taran Dawes. He is a middle-aged, probably like high 40s, low 50s, freelance thief. He's kind of I wouldn't call him a lone wolf, but he doesn't like to stick in one place for too long. He likes to move around. And I don't want to call it his motivation, but what fulfills him is that he's got a particular set of skills, and he likes being a freelance thief. He's good at it, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right.
Is there anything else that's helpful to say?
He's a human.
Yes.
So that's good to know. What does he describe his physicality? What does he look like? If we saw him in a smoky tavern from across the room, what would we see?
Salt and pepper head of hair from stress and from years and years of doing the job. Look of experience.
Yeah.
A rugged face. I wouldn't say it's a friendly face. I think he's kind of, you just see his age on his face. You see his experience on his face. I would say about 6 feet tall, not particularly strong looking, no muscles, kind of if you were to see him from afar, he looks kind of like a nobleman, like dressed nicely, dressed decently, no muscle, anything like that. But yeah, looks maybe like 5 or 6 years older than he actually is.
Above stated age.
What?
He looks 5 to 10 years above stated age.
Yeah,
Yep.
just weathered.
Yep.
I like it.
Weathered
Yeah.
man.
Very good. A little wear and tear.
Yep. Some bags under the
Some
eyes.
scars.
All right, I like it. Let's meet Lysandra.
Yes, so Lysandra is a tiefling, And for those who don't know, she's pretty striking to look at. So she has deep maroon skin, these beautiful horns that kind of twist out of her head, and a flicking tail. And Lysandra has had a really interesting life. She, as a tiefling, has been orphaned, unfortunately, super early on. So dropped off in an orphanage, doesn't really know a ton about her past. So as a tiefling, she doesn't know, you know, did my family sell their soul to the devil? Was I born into like demonic royalty? I don't really know. But as an orphan, she kind of was mischievous, would like to sneak out of her orphanage quite a bit, and probably younger than she should have. She started spending a lot of times in taverns and local pubs, and just met a lot of musicians along the way and developed her skill as a bard, as a musician. So about 17 years old, she decided to sneak away from the orphanage. Was just like, you know what, I'm ready for life, and has created a humble, modest life for herself, supports herself by singing in local taverns. So maybe you've heard of her. She has an interesting past, like I said. She finds herself sometimes wondering about her demonic ties, but never for too long. She loves a good adventure. And what else about her?
Does she play an instrument?
She does play an instrument. She plays the lute. Nice. She plays the lute, which has a nice glow. Every time she plays it, it starts to subtly glow as she plays it. She makes friends really easily, and what else? Things just tend to work out for her. She feels very lucky and weirdly optimistic given her life's circumstances. And if something doesn't work out for her, she just chalks it up to showbiz. That's showbiz, baby.
Nice.
And that's Lysandra.
I do have one question about
Yes.
Lysandra. So you can go either direction with this, but tiefling backgrounds can be infernal or abyssal.
Uh-huh.
And this is just some world stuff that people who haven't played before may not know. Devils and demons are different in classic D&D. Devils they're both evil, but devils are lawful evil and demons are chaotic evil. So devils are the ones who write elaborate contracts and they stick to them. They care a lot about the rules, or trying to break the rules if they can get away with it without getting in trouble. Demons are just chaos rage beasts. They love to destroy stuff and tear people apart, and or they're the seven deadly sins kind of creatures. And devils and demons hate each other, and they're constantly at war in the nine hells. Mm-hmm. So it will be interesting to decide, and you do not have to tell everybody this, but it'll be interesting for you to decide where your background is.
Okay.
And how that plays out in Lysandra's personality.
Gotcha.
And for me, how it plays out in her backstory as we collaboratively decide what your background actually is and who your parents actually are and all of that good stuff.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to?
No, it's up to you.
Okay, because when I was picking her character, I did label her as chaotic good, so I'm leaning more chaotic demon background.
Yeah, dig it.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
For background, like revelations, should some of that, can we keep some of that for just you to know maybe? Or
Yes.
for just us to know for like...
That is 100% up to you.
Okay.
So don't surprise me unless if you surprise me with something, I can't work it into the story until after I know it. Mm-hmm. So if you're like, and also I have an evil twin brother, and there he is, I'm going to immediately murder that character because I don't know what to do with that. But you don't have to tell me everything about your character. In fact, you don't even have to know everything about your character right now. It can emerge over time. That's some of the coolest part. Mm-hmm. And if there's stuff that you know about your character that you want to unveil and you don't want my help to do that, cool, drop it on the party, but then don't expect us to immediately get into like a cool side quest about that.
Yeah.
Having said that, I have a lot of fun collaborating on backstory stuff. I actually have a character in my other campaign who is a warlock and told me at the start of the game he didn't know who his patron was and wanted me to just decide. And so that was really cool. He still doesn't know. It's been 2.5 years. He has no idea who his patron is. So we can do cool stuff if we collaborate on it. But I definitely don't think, and you guys can talk about this, that it is even reasonable to assume that all your characters know everything about each other.
Okay.
My assumption is you are familiar enough with each other to want to hang out and like go do some work together. But part of the fun of this, I think, is building a story arc where your characters learn about each other and get to know each other and deepen their relationships through some of those moments of unveiling. So yeah, hold a little back for sure. Alyssa.
I have plenty of
I know
secrets.
everything.
The world of
I have a whole
secrets.
dark story in my head that I was like, am I supposed to share that?
And we'll talk about this too, but mechanically, like communication plan wise, I'm going to recommend we set up a Discord server for the game or some other, whatever you guys want to use to communicate. But that way we can have channels where you can just communicate directly with me about stuff, where you can talk as a party in between sessions and strategize or talk shit or whatever. And where I can send out information about what's going on in the game. Like if the other groups that I work with do something cataclysmic and I need to be like, by the way. So we'll have opportunities for some of those side conversations too. All right, Arundel.
Yes. Real quick, just like for the reminder, like I will have to like kind of dip early this time around, but so probably like 7:45 in like 30 minutes or so.
Okay.
But yes, so Arundel Swiftlight. I am 1,238 years old. I am an elf ranger. I was of noble house. Grew up, had a good upbringing, but unfortunately, my family was killed by a family rival and took over our house, and I was forced from my hometown, and I then took on the life of a ranger. During one of my quests, I ran into Sir Juddington. Sir Judworth Buddington. I befriended him on one of my quests, and him being a paladin, we kind of bonded over the whole sworn oath to uphold justice and goodness as I look to avenge my family and my hometown eventually. But you have a good what's it called? Yeah, well, no, I don't know. you have a good influence that helps like the dark thoughts of revenge instead of avenge aspect of things.
Nice. Keep on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
I dig it. I'm gonna make one. I'm gonna give you one option to edit, just because that's a big fun number. The number of years old that you are.
Sure. Oh.
However, that would mean that Arundel was born prior to a global cataclysm that is very unlikely that he survived.
No,
So the options I will give you is Arundel can be in the range of 500 years old,
Okay.
or you can legit be from that long ago, but you don't remember a big chunk of it. And we could talk about what that looks
I'll be like 438 years old.
All right, you got it. You got it. That still makes you one of the oldest people walking the planet.
Heck yeah. Wait. So if that's the case, I want to make sure like the backstory that I was saying about my family and stuff like that. So maybe I'll go.
I mean, that's still valid because your family also would have lived for an extremely long time. So like the murders could still have been relatively recent, 100 years ago or something. You would have been in your 300s, so like just a young, just a young buck.
438, yeah, 438.
All right, cool. All right, well, speaking of Sir Buddington.
All right. Sir Judworth Buddington. He's an ASMR paladin. He's about 33-ish years old. Not quite 1,000, but getting there.
Still cool.
Yeah. You see him, he's about 5'11", red hair, flowing red beard. Very handsome. But he,
love a good self-insert.
Yeah. He appears pretty human-like, but he has some glowing red eyes. So he has like a folk hero background. Growing up, he grew up as a commoner in like a village with his family, and he helped lead a rebellion against a tyrannical, like an aristocracy in the area, and helped overthrow that. But ever since establishing a new government within that town, he's on a personal quest, which we might discover more about later on. But
Nice.
yeah.
All right, I dig it.
And that's biology.
Serafina.
I don't have that thorough of a backstory.
That's all right.
in my head.
These are all works in progress.
Okay, so Serafina is a sorcerer with dragon blood. Is that the species that I picked?
So they're called Dragonborn.
Dragonborn, that's
Mhm.
right. So she, I'm kind of stealing this from something that you probably recognize, but
That's right. All of D&D is stealing plot from other things.
yeah. So she's the bastard of a noble family of a dragon kingdom, and she's been banished away at a young age because they didn't want her there. So she's been brought up along with like regular people. And
The baker's boy?
the what?
With the baker's boy?
Sure. And she's kind of come to realize that she has these powers and that she can channel her magic, and she's on a mission to reclaim her throne with her friends along the way.
Nice.
I don't know.
Yeah, I dig it.
Love.
So in Tellus, the largest population centers of Dragonborn exist pretty far to the east of where you all are starting, which fits your backstory really well. They are, you can kind of think of them a bit like a mashup between like Viking tribes sort of culture and like, which is it's a very Nordic vibe.
Okay.
They primarily live coastally, but they're warriors, but not conquerors. So their nation has not spread a lot over the years, but they're fairly insular. There's a lot of infighting among tribes.
Okay.
So you could have been a part of the noble family of one of those tribes,
Okay.
and there's all kinds of interesting directions that you could take that. But far away from home, I think is a cool aspect of the backstory. I like it.
Cool.
All right, and then we've got Duke Quickfingers.
Thank you. Duke for short. He,
That makes sense. 'Cause it is the whole name.
he also was part of a noble family, but
So it's just a bunch of rich kids.
was
That's what the party is.
I gotta add something after.
really
He's
got
a fake noble.
fed up with the royal court lifestyle, the hypocrisy. So he really doesn't like that power structure. So he left. He's a wood elf. So his goal in life, he's really not sure. He does some good, he does some bad. He's a bit of a gambler. Likes to frequent taverns.
Yeah.
He's seen Josh's character a few times. Had a few, talks with him, but not really close.
You know?
I think that's what I got. Uses a whip
Okay.
Oh, shit.
for
So we're already developing the tone of this campaign.
as a weapon, and as he's a bit, he likes to get around a little bit.
Oh, goodness.
All right,
Can I add something real quick?
please.
Just because after hearing you guys,
I also have a whip.
say some backstory. I have a longer whip.
So I got a whip too.
I have a whip. It's just slightly longer. Just some background. My character was kind of like I'm trying to think of the security for the president, what those guys are kind of called.
Secret Service.
Secret Service. He was kind of that kind of job for a nobleman in his past, and then through some poor decisions, some trauma happened to him. So that's why he kind of left that world, and now he's kind of on his own, like doing his thievery thing. But so he was like kind of
A big deal.
I wouldn't say a full-on soldier, but like his skills stem from that background. He
Sort of a
has that kind of
bodyguard
experience.
vibe.
Yeah, when he was younger though. Now he's
I mean the movie Bodyguard.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
Very much like that.
Exactly.
And he has a whip.
He is Kevin Costner in the Bodyguard.
Looks like Kevin Costner with Tobey Maguire's hair.
And he's carrying a really girthy whip. Everywhere he goes. All right, fantastic. Love these. This is a great variety. It's going to be interesting to see how some of the characters interact and kind of how you work together. So before we make some decisions about where you fit in the world, let's talk a little bit about ground rules. So, couple things. Again, some of this feels like review. If you've done D&D before, apologies. But for those that are new to this, I think some of this stuff is important. First and foremost, the point of D&D is to have fun telling a story. There is not a way to win this game. There are lots of little wins in this game that make it fun. You might win a combat, you might solve a puzzle, you might figure something out about the plot before I'm ready to tell you. There's lots of little fun things that you can do along the way. There's even big wins along the way. You might identify that there's like a big villain that you're trying to stop from completing their plan, and then you have a climactic battle and you wipe the floor with the guy and everybody celebrates and the king gives you a reward. Like, all that stuff is cool. But at the end of the day, the only way we know if we're winning is if everybody at this table is having a good time. So that's one of the reasons that I sent that survey ahead of time, is because in my experience, different people want really different things out of this game. And one of the challenges for a DM, because my job is to make sure you guys have fun, is trying to balance all of those things in any given session. Because if you come sit here for 4 hours and you at no point in that 4 hours do the thing you like to do in D&D, that session sucks for you. And we don't ever want a session to go by where somebody at the table is like, that was lame, that was boring. So it's helpful to me to understand a little bit about what you get out of this and what's exciting for you, and also to understand what is boring to you that we might want to fast forward through at times. So some of the things that were in the survey, we've got some role players at the table. This does not shock me. We've got some people who want to get into the combat mechanics and figure things out. That's cool. But what I'm curious about is more the other side of it. So what's the part of stories or games where things start to feel like they get really slow for you and you're like checking your phone or zoning out, or if we spent an hour and a half shopping in a store, you're gonna be like, oh, because I will tell you, for some people that's gold. The other group that I run at this table, they will happily spend a 3-hour session shopping and making me role play every shopkeeper and their assistant and describing what a cookie tastes like. They on the anime spectrum, they are slice of life, and they just want to live in a fantasy world where they get 8 hours of sleep a night and they've got plenty of money and and they get to choose pets and describe the outfits they're wearing, and it makes them very, very happy. I have another group where if we don't fight in a night, they're like, what the hell, man? We didn't slay a single thing. So I'm trying to catch the vibe, and we'll figure it out over time. We don't need a hard answer here, but it's an important part of the chemistry of a D&D group. Mm-hmm. So if you have an answer that's bubbling to the top of your mind, either about stuff that you're like, this is the part I'm super jazzed about, or this is stuff that I can barely tolerate, so don't make it last too long, let's throw it out there.
I'm not a slice of life anime person personally as much. I do like those aspects in books sometimes, but yeah, I like my brain is I'm more faster paced than that, so I would say I'd lean towards the other group that you mentioned. Not that we need to slay something like every other minute, but I would lean more towards that.
I'll second that.
I think like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I want to explore it all. Shopping sounds fun.
It honestly can. It can be really fun.
I know, I gotta try it.
Yeah.
So another big picture question, and we'll talk more about all these questions hopefully often, because that's, again, part of how you keep a group going, is if you go to a couple sessions and you're like, I'm starting to wish this was different, we just got to talk about it,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm not reading this from a book, I'm making it up from my head. So if you like something different, we'll just start doing something different.
I guess when I like compare to like when I play like a RPG game,
Yeah.
like I'll get distracted with all the side missions type stuff. So like
Okay.
you're still doing stuff,
Yeah.
you're accomplishing stuff, but you're not maybe always going towards the main objective.
Suck down tangents. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a great,
Yeah.
Merlin's Quest, Harry Potter,
there you go.
Yeah.
those stupid things.
Like
but
the
yeah.
puzzles
Yeah.
and all that.
I love
Oh,
them.
I
have
love
to do all of
puzzles
them.
too.
Yeah.
I'm like OCD.
Rebellio.
I'm like, I gotta
Rebellio.
All right, good to know. Because this is the other like spectrum for D&D worlds, especially homebrew worlds, which this is. We can do a campaign, and this is, again, it's a spectrum, so there's not a right answer here. But on one end of the spectrum is what we call railroad, and on the other end is sandbox. So railroad means I put you in a hallway, and you walk down the hallway and open the door, and behind the door there's a monster, and you fight the monster, and you get the treasure, and then there's another door. And I just keep putting stuff in front of you. I set them up, you knock them down. You don't have to make a lot of decisions about where to go, but you're going to solve puzzles and you're going to fight monsters and you're going to encounter characters. But I put you on a set of railroad tracks and you go from point A to point B. The other end of the spectrum is sandbox, where I just build a world. And I don't tell you shit. And then you go putz around in the world and see what you run into. And what that looks like is you end up creating your own quests. So in the sandbox, I put a lot of interesting stuff out there, and then you go poke around with it. So if you remember, like the Final Fantasy games, if anybody played those, and once you've got the ship and you can fly around, and you just drop yourself in the middle of the wilderness, and you're like, "What's out here?" And you wander around until you run into stuff. Like there's extreme versions of that, and then there's a whole lot of stuff in the middle. Where I can put some major plot hooks out there, and you can ignore them sometimes at your peril, or you can chase them down. But then there's freedom, like I won't force you to do a thing, but I might put a really significant protagonist in your path from time to time.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that middle one too.
Okay, so somewhere in the middle. I will say most D&D groups evolve this direction over time. So if you're new to D&D, a little bit of the railroad can be comfortable guide rails until you kind of get your feet under you, and then once you get some confidence, a lot of people are like, fuck it, we're opening a business.
I think that would be nice since it's a lot of our like first times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe
I
like
think that's good.
Yeah.
start small, go big.
One of my groups started a business selling yak poop.
What?
They're called aurochs in this world. They're very, very large, but don't ask me how, but we learned that their poop is extremely flammable. And they were like, well, what if we distilled it? And I gave them too much money. An alchemist gave them too much money for the little sample, and they were like, well, we're done adventuring. We're now this is what we do now.
Found their mission.
They were using that Sims cheat code.
Basically.
Or what was it?
Rosebud, you're
Yep.
right.
Okay, so question.
I have just been scrolling through these spells still.
Yeah.
Do I have to make a decision right now?
No. There's no urgency. And especially if you have to roll out early, we're not. So
Yeah.
tonight is session 0, and so tonight we're not gonna play
Okay.
necessarily.
I can read them more later.
Uh, the goal is just to get ourselves ready, make sure I've got a world that you're excited to get into, and get a feel for what we're gonna launch tonight, not play. So. So other ground rules, the things that kill D&D campaigns. Number one, scheduling. Always a problem when you're trying to get a group of adults together on a regular basis. So the question that we collectively need to decide is how often do you want to play, / how realistically can you play? How frequently can you realistically play? And then who's going to be in charge of making that happen? I will just ask that it's not my job to make this happen. I'll do my best to be flexible with my schedule because I'm kind of the person that can't miss a session. But it is involved. And to build sessions takes hours of investment. So I'd rather not also be in charge of the calendaring.
Yeah.
We could do that.
If that's cool. Okay.
Well, Josh, like, didn't you had kind of led off with something on which we can like always just kind of go back to as well.
Yeah.
Like how often or how
Yeah,
frequently.
what do you suggest for like a beginners?
Well, I mean, my life probably doesn't allow me to play more than once or sometimes twice a month.
Okay.
So, but I would love to not miss a month. So, you know, sometimes that's going to happen, and that's the reality of it.
Sure.
So are most groups meeting like once every 3 months, or once every 6 to 8 weeks?
I would say the average D&D group plays monthly.
Oh, okay, okay.
Some hardcore gamers are playing every week,
Okay.
and then you move fast through a plot if you're doing that. But monthly is a good cadence. Like
Yeah.
if
Okay.
you play once a month, you're probably not going to forget totally what's been going on in
Yeah.
the game, and you make steady progress towards the goal. Especially if we're doing like 3-4 hour sessions.
That's not
Yeah.
And it's possible too, like if one person can't make it, all of a sudden you can still get together and that
Yeah.
character can be gone for a little bit and come back.
Put them in a closet.
Yeah, there's
They're
lots of ways.
berries.
There's lots of ways to play the game with a missing player.
Stuff at the
Some you can pilot them like a Gundam and just, you know, they just don't say much that session, but in combat they still do stuff, and you just like, well, I think they'd move here and punch this thing. That's totally fine. But we'll leave it up to the player to decide that stuff. So like
Yes.
if you know you're gonna miss a session, you could be like, I'm gonna go on a walkabout in the woods, or I'm going on a bender,
Vacation.
and y'all won't see me for 2 days, and when you do, it's gonna be a mess. Or you can do whatever
Yeah.
with that kind of stuff, depending on where you are.
Monday should work for me. This is like a free Monday.
The
I never
surgery.
have surgery on Mondays.
I think it's like monthly is a good goal.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah.
I like it.
definitely don't go more than 2 months. If
Yeah.
things do come up, like try and make it a goal. So
Like
if
4 to 6
like if all of a
weeks.
sudden 2 people can't make it within 2 months, we try and get together within a month and a half
Yeah.
and just have the people who can attend that time attend.
Yeah.
I think that's a good goal.
The other thing I'll say about that is there's a lot of creative ways that we can involve you if you decide at some point that monthly play is not your jam. So if you get into this and you're like, this is fun, but I don't always want to do this, that's okay. We can have characters that come in and out of the game for various reasons, depending on what's going on in the game. We can also have straight up spectators who just come every once in a while and hang out and like enjoy just watching what's going on in the game. And there's kind of a fun other thing I've done from time to time where if you don't want to play all the time, but every once in a while, you can show up and I'll let you pilot monsters or role play non-player characters. So you become kind of like a co-DM, junior DM, whatever, in those sessions. So if you get to a point where you're like, I don't want to I'm not fully committed to doing this all the time, that's totally okay. You can still be involved. And that's true also of some of the people who didn't come or bailed.
Yeah, I was
Like,
gonna say, would you ever suggest bringing somebody to get involved that could just do like a random character that day?
Yeah,
That you
And-
would.
anybody who wants to. The level of preparation they put in is up to them, but like it truly can be as simple as somebody rolls up, brings snacks, and sits at the table, and I'm like, all right, you're in charge of those 6 goblins in this fight, or who's the shopkeeper? It's this guy today. Talk to the shopkeeper, right? So
Over there.
you can do that kind of stuff pretty much anytime. Pretty easy to do.
This way.
Okay, so we talked about some of the ground rules. We talked about the communication plan. The only other thing, and again, nobody put this in the survey, but if there's anything that is triggering to you, I don't tend to run campaigns that get like super graphic and intense. There are certain lines you will not see child abuse in my games. You will not see 4 stacks of sex in my games. There's some things that we're just not going to do in the game. If you decide to bring those into the game, we'll probably have a conversation about it. But
Go see a therapist.
yeah, this isn't that. But this is a dangerous world where some crazy stuff happens. So if you have some things that are triggering, it'd be good for me to know about it in advance so that I don't set up a scene that makes you have feelings you don't want to have. As an example, had a group that I was running, and unbeknownst to me, somebody had a friend who had died of suicide, and then we had a scene in the game where they came upon the victim or somebody who had died of suicide. And it was fine, but we had a conversation afterwards, and they were like, that wasn't great for me. So if there's things like that in the back of your head, you can shoot me a text or put it on the Discord or just mention it to me so that I don't accidentally do anything that makes you uncomfortable.
Sure.
And for everybody else too, right? Okay, let me tell you a little bit about the world that you are stepping into.
I might jet out then.
Yep,
I
all good.
apologize, but I will listen back so I can understand the world and be prepared for the next session.
Perfect.
Party.
I
Sounds
really
good.
appreciate setting this up. And
Yeah, man. Glad to have you in the group.
So
It's gonna be fun.
sorry, this is like a one-time thing for me having to leave early too. I promise.
You're good.
No worries.
All right.
Bye, Dave.
Bye.
Later, Dave.
Godspeed.
Tell the girls we say
See you, man.
Will do. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And thank you for the meet.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Let's kill his character.
No.
Let's immediately kill him off.
You don't need to show up next week.
Sorry, bro.
We started his funeral.
Elves only live to 400.
It's just the hard stuff sticking.
Yeah.
Hit your expiration date.
Abrupt cutoff.
Okay, so I mentioned earlier that this world is called Tellus. You are on a fairly large continent called Creche. The Creche is known to be, or thought to be, where civilization started on the planet. So, real world equivalent, think like Mesopotamia, Mediterranean region, same kind of thing. But the history of this world in particular has been a little dramatic. So great civilizations rose on the surface of the planet. They were around for a long time. Records are unclear because of the cataclysmic events of later, but there have been some ruins found over time, some relics of the past age. And what most historians agree is that whatever those great civilizations did, they kind of flew too close to the sun and caused a very big problem. Not sure if it was, there was a huge war. And they're not sure, historians are not sure if it was wars between nations, if it was wars of civilizations on the planet itself, or if it was actually a war between those civilizations and the gods. But the outcome of that was a cataclysm that destroyed nearly all life on the planet. Not all, but nearly all, and drove the gods off the planet. They vanished for hundreds of years. When the gods left, there was an event in the world that is now referred to as the quickening. And essentially what happened during the quickening was, some of the people who study this think that when the gods left Tellus, they left behind a great deal of magical power that they were controlling but didn't themselves possess. So the gods were shepherds of this power in each of their own domains, but when there were no gods to control that power, there was basically a torrential flood of magical energy across the surface of the planet that changed and warped it and made all kinds of crazy stuff happen. So some of those historians now believe that people like the elves the dwarves, the tieflings, others, dragonborn, are descended from what was originally a planet populated entirely by humans. But that those races they're essentially mutations created by the influx of raw magical energy that flowed across the planet. That also led to the creation of all kinds of what we would now consider mythological beasts and strange, mysterious phenomenon around the world, and has made magic fairly common. So while not everyone can cast spells as potently as a sorcerer can, almost everyone on Tellus can do the most basic magic. So it wouldn't be uncommon for you to see a child of 8 lighting the stove in their family home with a spark that they create from their fingertips, or purifying water from a stream, filtering, I should say, maybe not purifying poison out of it, but doing some basic things. And so what you will see across Tellus is things that in our real world would look a little bit like technology, but they're functions of magic. So in some of the great cities of the major kingdoms, you might see what look like electric lights on the street, magical lanterns. You might see conveyances that look a little different. This is not a high technology society. This is not a steampunk environment, but there are some of those kinds of things. This is a very magic dense world. So magic is not shocking or surprising to people, but a very small segment of the population has the abilities that you all have. So adventurers, or I should say adventurers who are imbued with magic, are not super common. But everybody's got a little. Here on the continent of Creche, there are quite a lot of nations that have sprung back up post-quickening, similar to ancient history. So you have primarily 3 kingdoms of men. They tend to squabble with each other, but there is a tepid peace between them. They've gone to war plenty of times over the course of history, as different things have shifted in the politics. But 3 kingdoms of men. The first is called Fenth. By the way, you don't have to take a bunch of notes on this. Again, it'll be in the podcast, and I will occasionally upload notes onto D&D Beyond, or we can decide if there's a different way that you want to do like a shared wiki, that kind of thing. But for now, just for your background, the first kingdom of men is called Fenth. It's a feudal monarchy. It is ruled by a king called Rentathian the Bulwark. He's known as a ruthless military genius. He holds power through the blood-sworn loyalty of his knights and his troops, but that power is always in balance against the financial power of the One Guild, which is an alliance of merchants, and the Gnomon Bank, which is an unaligned institution that serves all of the nations across Creche, including the elves and the tieflings. The capital city is called Onrus on Fale. It's a huge, mighty river port city. And they are a nation of, generally speaking, freedom of religion. So there's regular public worship of both good and neutral gods in the pantheon. So the gods are back. I should have mentioned that. They returned. We'll talk later about how that happened, because it's not finalized in the other game. But as of right now, they are back. And it is the traditional D&D pantheon. So if you just Google like D&D 5e pantheon, there's 12 major deities that cover some of the biggest stuff. And that those 12 include the good and neutral aligned gods. And then there are some not so good ones out there, trickster gods, evil gods. But in Fenth, there are temples and churches of many of those good and neutral gods all over the place, and none of them is enforced by the state. The second of the three kingdoms of men is called Rontalia. It's the smallest of the three kingdoms. It's ruled by a pentarch of powerful mages. The prime of the pentarch is known as the archmage, and the archmage is the ruler in collaboration with the pentarch. It's not a large nation. In fact, the boundaries of Rontalia do not extend really much beyond the lands that surround their capital city. But the other nations are very hesitant to mess with Rontalia because they have incredible magical power at their disposal. No one's really sure quite what they're capable of in their military because nobody's tested it. And they happen to be the only major source for magical research, instruction, and specialized magical materials in any of the human kingdoms. So if you want to study, that's where you go in the human kingdoms. Third and finally is called Spaldrus. Spaldrus ostensibly is a republic where senators are elected to oversee the provinces, but in reality, and everybody is pretty aware of this because it's not sneaky, it's actually ruled by the churches. So each senator is paired with what is called a Vicdan. A Vicdan is known as the holy conscience that partners with each senator to keep them on the true path. They advise their senator on the will of the gods, and those are the people who actually make the decisions in Spaldrus. The highest ranking member of the most dominant church at any given time is the unofficial ruler of Spaldrus, and that person is known as the principal. The current principal is a man named Morden Hendrix. He's the high priest of the Church of Tellus, who's the god of storms. But there are a number of churches that are constantly battling in secret to hold power in that nation. You're going to start in one of those three nations, and we will decide that together, or you all can decide before I drop you in the middle of a place. But also in the continent of Creche are the mysterious and ancient forest preserves of the Wood Elves. There are vast forests on Creche. Some of it is purely wilderness, basically untouched frontier land, and some of it is the land of the Wood Elves, where there are actually incredible, elaborate cities and small towns and all kinds of things, but very few humans have actually spent time there. There are envoys from the human kingdoms and traders that go into the forests, but your average human citizen will never visit the Wood Elf realms. There is also a very substantial mountain range that nearly splits the continent, and that is the home of the dwarven mountain fortresses. There is one nation of dwarves that lives under mountain, ruled by the Undermountain King. They have been long unified under that single ruler, and he's been around for a long time. They are also extremely doors closed to humans. Only some trusted folk are allowed in. They are friendly with the elves and are good trading partners, as both possess materials that the other desperately needs, but there's not a lot of respect, I would say. Friendly in a financial sense. And then last but not least, just across the ocean, which is a thin, narrow ocean, we'll have a map to look at later, are the infernal sultanates, which are city-states populated by tieflings. The sultanates operate largely independently from one another, but do frequently cooperate, but they just as frequently get into fistfights with each other. Because they are so close, just a brief ship's passage away, there is an incredible amount of trade that goes on between all of the nations I just described and the sultanates. And the tieflings are renowned as traders and merchants. They also have extremely sophisticated learning. So they have pretty famous alchemists and artificers and architects, mathematicians, things like that. So smart, but less about the magic and more about the mechanics of the world, which in this world also involves quite a bit of magic. Okay, that's the big stuff. Some of the small stuff that we don't have to get into right now because we'll work on it as we go, but if you're not familiar with the D&D money system, we're going to use the basic rules. If you putz in your character screen under inventory, you'll see there's a spot for money in there under the currency button or tab. Let's see, what does it look like? Up in the top right-hand corner, if you click inventory, you'll see a little number next to what looks like a little bale of hay, maybe. That's a gold piece. If you click on that, you'll see all your coin pop up. And on that little pop-up, you'll see the conversion for each of these coins. So it's hard for me to give you a real-world equivalent, but in your head, this isn't true in every setting, but in your head, think about a gold piece as like somewhere between 50 and $100. It's, for most common people, it's a lot of money. So like tipping a serving boy at the tavern a gold piece is gonna like blow their mind. A room at a decent inn in a small town is probably going to cost you a silver or two a night. A meal might cost you a silver, that kind of thing. Okay. But that doesn't apply in every place in the same way because this is not a globalized economy. So there are going to be some places where you walk in and certain things are really expensive and hard to get. And some things are extremely precious because there's forces on the economy in a world like this that there aren't in our real world. So for example, the average price of a healing potion, which because you guys have exactly one healer in your entire party, are going to be something you want to keep on hand. And he's a fighter healer, not a pure healer.
Don't look at me. I'm not helping any of you.
Typical healing potion goes for 50 gold pieces.
Whoa.
Yikes.
Who's our healer?
Me.
Good.
Oh, Jeb,
And I'm on the front line.
So frontline tank and also your healer.
Yeah. So I'm hoping the bard can.
So
maybe
inventory
speller.
inventory
Stay
management is going to be important. So some other things to think about. So again, you're going to want to explore your spells more. I'm happy to talk through with you what's interesting, what's useful, finding a balance for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Last thing is inventory. Your preloaded inventory, like the starter equipment, a lot of it is flavor text kind of stuff. I'm happy to play in a variety of different ways, but there's some rules that sometimes people feel are just annoying and unnecessary, and so I want us to just briefly talk about that. So the first of those rules is encumbrance. Encumbrance is how much does stuff weigh and how much space does it take up in your backpack and stuff like that. Most of the groups that I lead choose to turn encumbrance off and just not deal with it. And then what I do is just use sort of the common sense rule. So if you're like, I want to take that dragon's head and stick it in my backpack and we'll take it back to the village and sell it for parts, I'm going to be like, that's probably not going to happen. You're not strong enough to do that. But I'm not going to nitpick about in this rule setting. I wouldn't nitpick if you're like, you have one too many torches in your backpack and now you're at half movement, throw one away. But that's up to you guys. So this is the other kind of spectrum of D&D campaigns. We can play gritty realism, where like I make you count how many arrows you've used and we figure out how many broke and then you got to buy more at the shop. and we got to think about rations when you travel, and all this kind of stuff. Or on the other extreme, we don't worry about any of that shit, and just every once in a while I throw a curveball at you if I'm like, you've been spending a lot of money lately at the free inns. I've decided you're broke, right? And then there's some place in the middle. So what's the vibe that you prefer?
None of it.
I would say somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I agree.
Or
Would be a little honest.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
like throw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like encumbrance might be a little too much, but within reason. Yeah.
So, in your character builder, and if you've got your character in front of you right away, if you go all the way back to the first screen of the character builder, where it says character preferences, if you scroll all the way down, there is a setting that says encumbrance type, and you can just change that from use encumbrance to no encumbrance. And then you can also unclick the checkbox that says, or so you can click the checkbox that says ignore coin weight. It's probably already clicked. Because basically I'll let you carry as much money as you want, and we'll pretend it weighs nothing.
You said no encumbrance? Or
Yeah, so just set it to no encumbrance,
Okay.
and make sure the box that says ignore coin weight is checked.
Okay.
I-
You have to go back further. Go to home. Yeah, this one. Keep going down.
And then you can just stay on that screen because there's one other decision to make. And this is one that I don't care about. It's totally up to you guys. There's two ways we can do advancement. So you can do the classic rack up experience points until you cross a threshold and then you gain a level. Or we can do what's called milestone experience. So milestone experience means when I decide, suddenly you all level up. And that just means I tie it to like story beats. So like you did something really epic and it's the close of a chapter kind of.
That gets my vote.
And then I go, all right, everybody level up, right?
Yeah, I like that.
What was
I
the
like that.
alternative?
So the alternative is experience points. So that's the equivalent of like in a video game, you grind enough, you kill enough beasties, whatever.
But you still are the one who determines how many experience points you get.
Yes, but there are a bunch of rules built in that give it mechanics. So like fight a harder monster, that monster is worth, like I have charts that tell me how much that monster is worth, and then I'll distribute those points at the end of each night. It's different kinds of fun. So I have groups who deeply love watching their little XP counter go up, and like they know tonight is gonna happen, and they cross that.
It doesn't even happen every night.
Oh no.
Okay.
No, you definitely won't level up every night. You'll level up often early,
Okay.
and then not often later. Especially if we're not doing milestone experience. So if we're doing XP experience, it's an exponential curve for leveling up. But either way is cool with me. I think they both are a lot of fun. Kind of depends on what gets you jazzed.
What do you think?
Yeah, whatever you guys prefer.
Milestone.
I think Judd voted milestone too. I'm cool with that.
I like milestone.
Okay, cool.
Seems less
I think
We
that's
earned it as a team.
it is
Yeah.
it is less complicated. I think that's what is set as the default. So just double check that that's what yours says. And I think that's it for settings and whatnot.
Milestone, yeah. Under advancement, if you just scroll. Okay.
Where was your milestone?
It's on that same home page.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, you were.
Boop.
Characters.
It's already set, so you're good.
Boop, boop, boop.
Milestone. Let's go.
What stories do you have stored up in there? You were typing a lot earlier today.
Yeah, I got
Or when I
ideas.
got home.
It's basically the plot of Lethal Weapon, if you want to spoil it.
All right, so the last thing I have on my list for us to figure out mechanically is right now we've got 6 players, which is on the upper end of what tends to be fun for a D&D campaign. Now, that does not mean that we can't launch with 6 people all in the same party. We can definitely do that.
It was.
The upside of that is
Yes, she did that.
everybody gets to play and play together. The downside of that is certain things take a lot longer when there's 6 of you. So like when we do combat, we take turns. So you're gonna wait 5 other people's turns plus my turn with all the bad guys before you get a turn again, which means in combat you should expect to sit around. Now hopefully that's fun for you because you're leaning forward to hear what other players are doing and you enjoy observing. But in a game with 6 player characters, you're gonna do a lot of observing. There's gonna be a lot of time in the campaign where you're sitting back watching somebody else role play or sitting back watching somebody else fight. And if we're gonna play with all 6 characters at once, you gotta be down for that. The other option we have is we can split the group now. We can also split the group later if we decide that that's better. And we can play the split group a variety of ways. We can still all get together at the same time, and we can have one half of the group watch the other group play, and then switch and have the other group watch half the group play. We can have me here for 4 hours, and 3 of you show up for 2 of those hours, and 3 of you show up for the other 2 hours. We maybe could schedule separate sessions, although that starts to get a little harder. So there's different ways to do that, but there's potential cool upsides to that. So the upside to that is, again, things go a lot faster. Like when there's 3 players in your party, you're basically all interacting all the time. Combat, you're going to take lots of turns. Things move fast. Party tends to be a little more nimble. So trade-offs there. There can be some interesting mechanics if you decide to do 2 separate groups. Those groups could be collaborating. They could actually be not collaborating, which is a fun dynamic that I've actually never run, which could be cool. Conflicting groups or groups who are racing to the same goal and competing with each other. There's all kinds of interesting ways to go about it.
Is there potential for us to start off like with the 6 of us and then see how that is and branch off into 2 separate groups too once we get like the feel for it?
100%. Yep.
I like that.
We can change it anytime, and if at some point you split and you're playing separately for a while, we can do crossovers, we can do meetups, we can do all kinds of stuff.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I like
I like
that.
that.
Okay.
I don't mind listening to
No,
other people
no,
I don't mind
either
either,
at all.
just getting the feel of things, like
Yeah.
seeing how everybody plays too.
Okay.
If it's
Especially with everyone being new, I feel like that'd be helpful to see how different people.
maybe we'll go
Yeah.
a couple sessions of it and be like, all right, this sucks. We need to do this.
And we
You're
get moving.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, and it's okay to be honest about that because truly it can be great if people are paying attention and with it, but the moment you get to a place where you're like a couple hours in and 3 people are on their phones or spacing out while other people are taking their turns, it'll get pretty obvious that's not working, and then there's things we can do about it instead of just being like, well, this is dumb. Okay, so knowing we're going to launch together, I have 4 different possible launch points for you. I haven't decided which one I'm going to do. So, we're going to let the dice decide.
I was gonna say, let the gods decide.
The gods, they're back. Let them decide.
You don't have to. So if you're on the app or the website,
You can roll on.
you can roll on it. There should be like a little icon, like
Or
a.
we can share it
On the
too.
bottom,
Yeah.
right?
But they're so pretty.
Random set. They're Lord of the Rings ones.
What?
Yeah.
We're gonna use the big die. That's what we'll use
Not
to
your
decide.
weighted die.
No, we're gonna use the big one. So I got this one for Christmas, and it feels substantial. So we're gonna use that.
Oh, sorry.
Go home.
A meteor just came towards the planet.
So 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, and 16 to 20 is how we're gonna divide this up. And why don't you roll it, Maddie?
It's gonna be a 7.
17.
Ooh.
That's great.
Nice.
That's great.
Great
And I'm,
job.
and I'm gonna save some of these other ones because sometimes we reset.
I think Dave has to start in a different way.
He has to find his way to us.
Yeah.
He has to do individual sessions.
Oh, speaking of reset, again, for those who've not played D&D before, we should talk about what happens if your character dies. It's not common. Well, let me say this.
We don't have a healer.
We're in trouble.
Help.
So, your character, it's very common for characters to get knocked out in D&D. So, if you get brought down to 0 hit points, you're unconscious, and your character starts taking what we call death saving throws, which means on your turn, you roll a die, and if you roll it well, your character's on the path to recovery. If you roll it poorly, it's not so good. If you fail 3 death saves before you succeed at 3 death saves, your character well and truly dies. And then that's the way you actually die in D&D. There's another path to that actual death, which we call insta-kill. And insta-kill is when your character takes enough damage that they would go negative HP the same as their positive HP. So if you had 8 hit points and an ogre hit you with a club and did 16 damage, you're just dead. We don't roll any saving throws. You're a puddle. So what happens when you die in D&D? There are ways to bring characters back to life in D&D. They tend to be expensive, difficult, unless you're like a high level character. So when you guys are at like level 10, you might be able to bring people back yourself. You'll use your mighty power of the gods and they'll pop right back up and everyone will be like, yay, we're so glad we have a healer. At level 1, none of you have that power and none of you can afford to pay somebody for that power. So if somebody on your crew died and you wanted to bring that character back specifically, you'd probably be going on a pretty substantial quest to either go raise the money to raise your friend from the dead or to get a
Why they're
favor.
selling poop?
You could try to sell poop. No, that's not why they're doing it. Although they are perpetually broke, that party is. So it's not surprising to me that they went in a mercantile direction.
I'm gonna ask, was it profitable?
Extremely. Which is why I really need to tweak the economy of that world. But the reality is, if your character dies early on, and your party's not going to go on this big quest to save you, you're not kicked out of D&D. At that point, you're going to roll up a new character, and you and I are gonna have a conversation about how that character gets introduced to the game. Because I don't really think it's great for story continuity to just have new characters coming all the time, I don't want to encourage character death. And I have, at one point in my life, met a person who loved making new characters so much that they took frivolous risks with their characters just so they could bring new characters in all the time, like a lemming off a cliff. So we're not going to do that. And as a friendly way to make sure that doesn't happen, if your character dies in a session, you will not be invited to play in the next session. So you can come and you can be a ghost in the machine and like watch the session, but I'm going to make you take a 1 session cooldown period while you think about what your new character is, and we decide where they're going to pop up in the new story.
It's a good rule.
Just so we're not just throwing meat at every problem.
That's hilarious.
So that's what happens if you die. Okay. I think we're ready to launch.
Let's do it.
Very good.
How do I even get back to where
What'd you
we
get?
were?
17.
Was it really?
What do I click on to get back to like the screen with my inventory and stuff?
Probably that one.
Okay.
Oh. I don't know.
Are there healing spells?
Well, there is a healing spell, but it says I can only heal
My dice are really hard to read.
my mending
I
cantrip.
don't think that's healing.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that
mending is
fixes an
for
item.
repairing items and objects. Yeah.
As
As a sorcerer, you will not have access to healing magic.
isn't
Most
there
likely.
like
useless.
isn't there one of the subclasses you can kind of?
What?
Maybe. So depending, but with the dragon background,
Okay.
I don't. With dragon ancestry, I don't
There's-
think she's likely to have access to a healing spell.
Hard luck.
Is it preferred to have like all my cantrips be like quick, easy, or like
How many cantrips do you get?
4?
4. So that's a lot. That's great. It gives you a lot of flexibility. Strongly recommend you pick one cantrip that is a distance damage cantrip.
Firebolt is good.
Firebolt's great.
Okay.
There's an array of them. Which ancestry did you pick? What's your element?
Oh, lightning.
Lightning.
Okay.
Sweet.
Is there? Do you get a bonus for doing like a lightning?
I don't think you get bonus to your lightning spell casting right now.
Okay. So cantrip, it wouldn't really matter too much.
Yeah, but you may want to pick a lightning based for one of these. So a distance damage dealing spell, an up close damage dealing spell.
Like shocking grasp.
Shocking grasp could be a lightning based up close.
I think that's
Okay.
that's melee, right? Where you grab them
Yep.
and
And then the other two, I recommend you take some kind of utility spells with.
Okay.
So things that are
These
not
are my and so I should
oh, you can see your range.
damage dealing, but like would be helpful in some other aspect. So I think message is a cantrip, I
Yeah.
believe.
Very good.
That's
Oh,
super
yeah?
helpful. It's
Very
sort of like
Okay.
being able to send a text to your party
Yeah.
from a short distance. Like it's
Oh.
you can like whisper and they hear from 30 feet away. That's
really good.
useful.
Minor illusion, not a bad thing, I think.
What do you think about Sorceress Burst? It just sounded cool. Okay. I don't know. I don't need that many. So you think Minor Illusion?
I mean, that's up to you, but
No, I guess I can't think of all the possible scenarios where I would need different like create
Is there a health
bonfire. Is
spell?
that like really beneficial?
Well, because we're not leaning hard into the gritty reality side of things, I wouldn't worry too much about like creating food or starting bonfires, some of that kind of stuff, because I'm not gonna make that hard on you
Okay.
in this campaign. So
Okay.
yeah, so pick stuff that sounds. It's good to pick a cantrip, one cantrip that sounds fun.
yeah.
I think if you can shoot fire from a long ways away, grab a guy and put lightning into him,
Get over here.
and whisper to your friends in the middle of combat, you got a bunch of useful stuff for fighting, and then just
Yeah.
pick something that sounds neat.
Okay, scotch.
I love scotch.
The thing is, I know you're not
So those are
kidding
first
about
level
the
spells
lethal
that-
Yeah.
weapon.
These
I know you're serious
Spell
about
slots?
that.
It's a little
being
different.
your
It's
in-
close though.
It's a little different.
So,
Isn't they
like,
like a
you'll only be able to
secretly
get-
adopted like Chinese
How
daughter or
often
something in one of
do
those?
sorcerers
The fourth one
regain
Jet
spell
Li's in it.
slots?
They
Is it
do
on long
adopt
rests?
like a whole
Oh
family.
gosh, warlocks get
It's
it
one of
on
the
a
worst
short
movies.
rest. Hang on.
That's
Forgot about Jet Li.
You- Those
He's
ones
like
are valuable.
70
That's
now.
like you
He
might only
aged
be able
rapidly.
to do like 2 of those in a day,
Used to have
at least
nightmares.
starting out. So that
I don't.
Yeah, it might be the one.
Yeah.
I would do like one
Yeah, I
damage
don't-
one and then like one utility one.
I don't
for
think
that.
you get your spell slots back on a short rest.
You said do or don't?
Don't. I think
Okay.
it's a long rest.
Yeah, so those you gotta kind of think about.
Yeah, dude. Freaking flames, man.
Magic missile.
Are there any health spells since we got no
That's
healing?
what I said.
I might
That'll
switch
be
up.
fun.
Yeah,
My
long
current spell.
long rest only.
Which means like only like a whole round of
It's like a
turn.
whole day.
But it's like you got to get like an 8 hours of sleep and bandage up and like
Yeah.
so you don't get them back very often. The advantage that sorcerers have is you get sorcery points. So sorcery points are this is where it gets complicated, a little complicated. So you've got spell slots, which are a resource or a currency that you burn through when you cast a spell. But as a sorcerer, you also have sorcery points that allow you to do weird stuff with your magic,
Okay.
or to change it in some way, or supercharge it is a better way to describe it. So your sorcery points are
2.
Get it out now.
When I was at home, I was rolling like 2s and 3s nonstop. I was like, there's something wrong. What is that?
There's a little touch in G&T.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe you don't unlock sorcery points until the next level.
Okay,
What's
get
it- what's
all-
it-
So we
what
don't.
does sound
So we don't have to worry
That
about it
couldn't
just
have
yet.
been worse.
So damage is like something that hurts. Utility is more like a buff or like something to help the team or like a negative effect that you put on an enemy or
I
something.
have to
That
switch this turn
doesn't
and drive
necessarily
me
do
nuts this
damage,
whole
but will
time.
help
Have
us.
you heard
It was great when you were telling your story.
It just
Yeah.
hurt me.
Or something like
Yeah.
It's part of my musical background.
Yeah.
Your
It was
loot-
on beat for
On
sure.
theme,
Your
yeah.
loot was.
Oh yeah, you'll get your sorcery points at second level.
Okay.
So, like,
Shields? Like,
whole,
what is it?
okay, do sorcerers use? Are they just like light armor or no armor?
That's really about your build.
Because
They had magic
shield
armor.
is
Seraphina has 8 strength, so probably not swinging a sword around.
right.
Yeah, I
Smart.
pictured sort of like.
You don't need
So like,
I pictured a lot of this.
A lot
You
of
know,
this.
just a lot of this going on.
mage armor.
Standing behind
Yeah,
everybody.
you want mage armor can be really good because
Magic
that'll
armor.
boost your AC, make
Yeah,
you
Is your
tank
character
like.
strong?
Yeah, you have no armor proficiency,
Yeah.
so you
No,
cannot
I'm not
wear.
strong, no.
Is your
Armor.
character strong?
I'm just
So
strong.
shield,
Dude, I'm the only strong guy.
shield and mage armor are your two
I'm doing
options.
everything,
Mage armor
man.
gives you a little
I'm
less
the top
protection,
shot
but it
fights.
lasts for like 8 hours.
I think
So
Dave's
like
supposed to
get
be
up in the
strong,
morning
right?
and put on your
Yeah,
mage armor,
no, he's
and it just kind of sticks
Oh,
around
okay.
through
It's
combat,
something.
raises your armor class a
Well,
little
We
bit.
got 2 smooth.
Shield is a
cars,
reactive spell. It gives you
I'm
a
gonna
lot more
charisma at
protection,
15.
but
I'm gonna
it's
say
like,
flip the card.
oh, I'm about. So I can tell you, this
I always
goblin
carry
rolled a
roll, like,
20 to
some
hit you, and
dice.
you're like, oh shit. I cast shield. You cast shield in reaction after you know it's going to hit,
Is it a
And now it
female
doesn't.
monster?
And you can only do that one
but
time.
then it's gone
Okay.
on the next turn. So it's like a one-time, really powerful that protects me versus mage armor. If it's me at level 1, I go mage armor and just remember to cast it.
That's what I was thinking.
Different
When she
colors.
levels
Okay,
up,
but
she
I-
can, does she get the option to change them?
You can swap spells on a long rest.
Okay.
So if you use mage armor for a while and you're like, this sucks, I need shield.
Okay.
Go to bed, wake
My
up the next
cantrips are
morning,
set, though.
and swap them out. No, you can swap cantrips
Oh.
too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm
Yeah.
freaking out about
You just can't swap them when you're in the middle of stuff.
I feel like it's,
Like, this isn't what I needed. Let me.
it's like in Skyrim that build just gets their ass beat initially, and then eventually they beat everybody else's ass.
That is, yeah. As a sorcerer, you're a glass cannon. And so you need to be in the back of row for a while.
That's what I'm picturing.
But eventually, you can take sorcerer in a lot of crazy ways. Like, there's a point where you might have wings of lightning, and you're like,
That's what I read.
just
I'm gonna be like a dragon.
yeah, you can get real ruthless later.
Okay. Where's the bathroom? Okay.
Just
Right around the
this door
corner.
right here.
This makes me want to play Skyrim.
Skyrim is pretty sick.
Boot it up tonight.
I haven't played in so long. I remember the last time I played, I had all the mobs were out.
Oh yeah.
I just had like Gandalf following me around.
That
Yeah,
sounds-
like every
that
kill was an
angles.
animation.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That was the best.
Okay, so we need very briefly, so that I can launch you guys. I need to know, because we're gonna start this a little bit in media res. Yeah. So I just need a little bit of like, what has this crew been up to? Because we've established a few of you are familiar with each other in different ways, but what I'd like to do is jump right in, as in like, y'all have already been together. So the question is, have you been traveling together for a little while and like doing some jobs for somebody to try to make some money, or is it like
I feel like we all frequent the same tavern
That I
drinking
sing at,
buddies?
Drinking
that
buddies?
I perform at.
that
Yeah.
you perform at.
Oh, yeah.
We all went to high school together.
That I've seen Josh from afar.
Yeah.
Oh god, he's a low-key super fan.
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah. Oh yeah. will not leave me alone.
He's got
Kinda
all the
pervy,
posters,
Yeah.
and you don't even make posters. They like
Homemade
Drawings.
shrine.
Drawings.
Yeah.
he's commissioning local artists. mostly just feet.
He said, "How do we all?" He wants to come up with how we all
Yeah.
have like.
Me and Dave saw
I
dude
said
from across
maybe
the
we all
bar,
go
and
to
we were
the same
like,
tavern.
we like his vibes.
Gotta let's just get
Guys
it
seem
out.
cool.
Okay. Okay.
I feel like maybe you and I have done a few jobs together,
Yeah.
hired thieves.
Reluctantly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of like in the same trade.
And I think I
We
just
play
tagged
cards.
along because I
Yep,
don't like.
some gamblers.
Once I start to
I
get
like
like fanboys, I'm kind of like, okay, it's time for me to like try somewhere new.
Okay, dude.
So I'm like, yeah, where are we going?
I'm just a regular.
Just a town favorite.
I feel like you and Dave should just be like, you guys just stopped in
Yeah.
on your
Yeah. On our quests.
yeah.
And we
He and
decided
Josh
to
are
join you.
regulars,
Mm.
Okay.
and Madeline.
Is your girlfriend
I just
or your
happen to be in the right place at the right time.
Sure.
Just a friend for a friend.
Also a super fan.
Yeah, I'm in love.
You're a celebrity.
It's about to get really tense.
We're gambling
Okay.
on horses. Are there horses in this world? That's a question.
I bet on him, so yes.
There's horses. There's horses.
Is
Yeah.
there a track in this town?
Oh, they pay great price to be.
That's where we're
Bit trash.
gambling on the horses in this town.
Okay. And
Taryn Dawes, he was a jockey in his previous
Oh
life.
yeah.
That's his
that was
backstory.
Until he fell in with the wrong crowd.
Yep, started fixing
Throw-
races.
Yeah, threw a few too many.
Yep. Started clipping his horse's hooves a little too short to slow him down. Got caught,
vanished.
banished from the tracks.
all right. I got it. So, as do so many adventures, this story begins in a tavern. And as in so many different evenings, for so many different reasons, each of you wanders into town and follows the sound of music and laughter and clinking crockery until you walk into the warm and well-lit space of your favorite local establishment. What's it called?
Rollies.
Just rollies.
Rollies.
Rollies?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't think of anything to add to that. Like
No.
the
Yeah, we need a
rolling-
second part.
Yeah, like the rolling. I don't know.
No, it's Rollies. That's canon.
On Diconia.
God damn it.
Rollies Tap. As you each make your way into the tavern, Rolly, the sort of rotund human bartender and owner of Rollies Tap, greets you with a smile and a raised tankard for those that he knows is looking for one. Throws his bar towel over his shoulder and gestures to your favorite seat. You snatch your drink of choice, which is
Elvish Scotch.
okay. I like that. High-end whiskey,
Yep.
Um,
Former noble.
pricey. Pricey around here. Hard to get.
I don't know.
Mead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pancake mead.
Fireball.
Okay. All right. Literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
Fireball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a brand name.
Mm-mm.
Mine's just a strong gin.
Okay. Just straight strong gin.
Gin.
That's a full tankard of raw, warm gin.
Yep.
Taste for juniper.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. All right. Well, as you all settle in to your various seats, you gather around what has, over the course of the last several weeks, become a comfortable and familiar table. A table with familiar faces. Not every one of you joins this table every night, but all of you have joined this table many times over the last few weeks. And you have taken meals here, you've had interesting and varied conversations with the people that you see around the table, and you've all come to enjoy the musical talents of the local bard, who is once again performing tonight to the great joy of one or more of your party. So as Lysandra finishes her fireball and starts tuning up her lute to head onto the stage, the rest of you dig into a round of a plate of spiced potatoes that's just been brought out to the table by Rolly. And Lysandra, tell us about what's the set list like tonight as you sort of kick off the evening.
It's gonna be just a short set list today. I think just 3 crowd favorites. I think there was a suggestion from the audience.
Freebird.
Totally.
Sing-alongs.
Yeah, ones that just like slow, very like intimate type of songs.
Okay. The night starts chill. But, like some nights do, it takes on a momentum of its own. There's a moment, Lysandra, when you think you're ready to wrap up the set list, where you start to get that feeling, that feeling that is rare for a performer, where the energy of the crowd hits a tipping point, and the momentum kind of starts to sweep you along. And suddenly what you thought was going to be 3 songs, you realize you just can't stop now. And so you're not responding to requests, but the music continues to pour out of you as you see the crowd reacting. The rest of you are fully engaged in the show, but you're also drinking and laughing and talking and telling stories. And as you look around, you notice that the bar is more full than you've seen it in a long time. People are having a great time. This is a work night. It's not a festival night. There's no special occasion, but there's just something in the air. It's one of those late summer warm evenings where it just kind of feels like a special occasion, like a fake Wisconsin drinking special occasion where suddenly everybody just decides it's on, like today. And people are having a great time. As the night continues, you order another round. A couple of the fans start to bring up shots of Fireball to the stage, and the energy continues until at a certain point it starts to feel almost a little manic, and you lose yourself in the energy of the night. It goes from chill, we're just having a regular evening with our friends, to you're rocking. It's a party. It's getting a little reckless. You're seeing people do things that are a little out of character for them. Arundel is up on the table.
No.
Hey.
Trying to start a sing-along of his own. Lysandra is done playing, but nobody seems to notice because they're still singing her songs, but she's joined the table and is drinking right along with the rest of you. Hydration has been left long in the rearview mirror as the night continues. And then everything for this group shifts from the steady flow of time into those little snapshot vignettes of a night of drinking that has gone too far. You are behind the bar, pouring your own drinks with it. Yeah, what was his name?
Rolly.
With Rolly, yeah, with Rolly. As he snaps his towel at you and tries to chase you away. You are out back behind Rolly's, stumbling down the hill towards the pond at the edge of the village. One of you, and you tell me who's most likely, throws Lysandra in the pond. Who did it?
Judd.
What? The Duke?
The Duke,
Quick
little,
finger,
yeah, dude, quick
quick
fingers.
finger.
He does
Oh,
mischief.
Yeah.
All right. Well, she's not even mad. She's mad for a second, but there's a lot of fireball inside now, keeping her nice and warm. And her clothes seem to dry almost instantly as she pops back out. The next snapshot, you all are on the edge of town, causing some kind of mischief in a chicken coop. You've invented some kind of game where
Stuffed Arendelle in there.
you've some kind of game where you are competing to chase one of these down. Arendelle, in a drunken state, is a little confused and is just trying to eat one. Unsuccessfully, because he cannot seem to catch it. And then in the next snapshot, you find yourselves outside of town and a little turned around until suddenly the energy level crashes. And the six of you are just standing kind of out in the, not the woods, but out in the middle of nowhere in a farm field, drunk, but no longer having a great time and a little confused about why you're here and how far away from town you are. And that's when, let's see, who has a high... look at your character sheets for me, please. And on the left-hand side of your character sheet, you have a little box that says senses. I'm curious what your passive perception is.
What number?
Mm-hmm.
I have a 12.
Okay.
I have 14. It's just right there.
14,
15.
15.
Where am I looking? 11.
Okay. And I'll just check for Arendelle here quick.
He's dumb as rocks.
But is he perceptive? Passive perception 14. So,
Watch your tongue.
so that means that Arendelle and Taryn, 14?
I'm 14, yeah.
Oh, Arendelle and Lysandra don't see this immediately, but very shortly after, Taryn sort of drunkenly turns and in the distance sees a very warm, welcoming firelight and starts stumbling off towards it. The other two catch sight of him stumbling off and then see the light and make the connection. And pretty soon all of you are following like little ducklings as Taryn heads off towards the firelight. As you get a little closer, in the next snapshot, as you leap forward through this drunken time travel sequence, you find yourselves standing in front of what looks like a long abandoned monastery or maybe temple. It's a big old stone building that still has the remnants of a wooden door on the front, but is largely covered with vines and moss. And a single large iron brazier is fitted over the top of the door with a fire blazing in it. It's the equivalent of a very big torch. But nobody seems to be around. And Taryn, as you walk up and see the light, your momentum keeps going even though your brain tells you to stop, and you just plow through the wooden door and find yourself standing in what feels like a courtyard. So the monastery is built basically in a large square shape, and the center is empty, but cobbled stone, again overgrown with vines and little bushes and trees pushing up in various places. There's detritus of old wood and stuff scattered around, and it's peaceful, but it's strange because it's clear that nobody's been here in a very long time, and yet there are two things that immediately catch your eye and the eye of everyone else who wanders in behind you. To your left, you see a large, it looks like a statue of a shield. It's shaped like a big kite shield. And you can tell it's stone, and what's strange about it is that it looks much newer than any of the stonework around you. There's no vines crawling over this. There's no moss marring its surface. It's not weathered. And it's glowing softly with a gentle yellow light. And to your right, there's a similar statue, but different. That statue is in the shape of a dagger. And it is similarly untouched by time. It is glowing softly with a purple light. As you step into this space, head spinning, you start to sober up faster than is natural. But you're still quite confused. What are your characters thinking in this moment, and what, if anything, are they doing?
Wondering if this is some like magical shrine that we've come across.
You want to make a religion check. This will be your first skill check.
What does that mean?
So on your character sheet,
Okay.
in the sort of the middle, there is a list of skills in alphabetical order. Under religion, it looks like you have a +1. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
to roll a skill check, you would roll a d20. I don't know where my big d20 went. You don't have to use that one. But you would roll a 20-sided die, and then because you have a +1 in religion, you would add 1 to whatever you rolled.
Okay.
Now you can roll a physical die, or, fun fact, in D&D Beyond, you can just click on that +1, and it will roll a virtual die for you automatically and add the number. You can do either one. Some people like the clicky-clack of real dice. Some people like the convenience of pressing the button, but you can do either one.
And like by rolling, what am I doing?
So, because you're looking around and thinking, oh, I wonder if this is a shrine, this is how we check if your character recognizes any of the religious symbolism or, picks up any extra information.
Okay.
So if you roll really well on this, I might give your character some extra information.
Okay. There's no downside to rolling.
Nope.
Essentially. Okay.
No penalty for this skill check. Some skill checks do have a downside,
Okay.
but this one does not.
And is there like a turn? Like we all go into turns, or right now?
Not right
it's
now.
like-
In
okay.
combat, we have turns. In a setting like this, we're just, if you got something, we'll do it.
Okay, fine. You guys are cool with this?
Oh yeah.
I think wait.
No!
9.
A 9. Plus 1 is a 10. So with a 10, you don't instantly recognize the symbols on these two, but they do both feel religious in nature to you. So your read as, are these maybe shrines? You're like, yeah, these are probably shrines.
Okay.
But you're not immediately like, oh, I know which gods these are and a bunch of information about them. But yeah, it feels like you've stumbled into a holy-ish place. And these two things are clearly shrines. Anybody else want to do a thing?
Sort of want to touch one of them.
Yeah? Which one?
Dagger.
Okay.
The rogue.
I like it.
Makes sense.
So Duke stumbles in the general direction of the dagger. And as you approach, the purple light grows brighter. And as you reach out to touch the dagger, it flashes, and you and everyone hear a voice speak to you. The voice is not speaking with sound. It is a voice that you hear in your minds. And it's hard to describe what this feels like, but it is overwhelming in a way. And yet it is extremely quiet. It sounds like the voice is whispering, but you feel like suddenly you're wearing a weighted vest, a heavy one, as the words hit your brain. And what you all hear is this. The game pieces have arrived. Welcome. Just as that experience fades, the shield lights up and flashes with a bright golden light, and a different voice echoes in your mind. This voice is loud, not like a shout, but like a big man who has walked into the room and is projecting his voice across a loud tap room so that his friend knows he's here. And it hammers your brain to the point where, how about if everybody makes a wisdom saving throw? Mm-hmm. So if you look at your character sheet, in the top left-hand corner of your sheet, you will see saving throws. Checks and saving throws are different, and I'll explain briefly how they're different. A skill check is typically something that you roll when you have chosen to do a thing, and then we're checking to see if you have the skill you needed to be successful at it. So all those skills that you see in that list are examples of skill checks. So if you said, I want to jump over this bubbling pool of magma, we'd roll an athletics check to see if you succeeded or fell to your death.
Okay.
Those are all specific versions of what we call ability checks. So your ability scores are at the top: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence. What you'll notice is that a lot of those are the same as your skill checks that line up with certain things, because each one of those skills is related to an ability. So for example, acrobatics is related to your dexterity score. So most of the time, your acrobatics bonus is going to be the same as your dexterity bonus. Some of your skills you'll see have a higher bonus. That's because of the proficiencies that you chose. So when you were building your character, you decided that your character was extra good at certain things. And that's where you'll see that little black dot that is labeling proficient skills. So you have a little extra bonus in those skills because you're extra special good at those.
Okay.
More than your ability score would suggest. But separate from all of those things are your saving throws. Saving throws are reactionary. So unlike a skill check where you say, I want to do a thing, a saving throw is when I say, a thing is about to happen to you. Let's see if you can resist it, overcome it, react to it, get yourself out of it. Can you save yourself from what's about to go down? So your saving throws have different bonuses, again, based on your proficiencies and your abilities. So what I want you to look at is your wisdom saving throw. So Arundel has a +2 to his wisdom saving throw. And I'm going to roll that with a virtual die. That's a 7, +2 is 9. If you have D&D Beyond up, you might have seen that roll populate.
No.
And if
In
you
the game log, if you can find it.
Oh, in campaigns.
Yeah, I see it.
Where do you look it up?
You see it. I just clicked on a dice looking thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun thing. So when you're all sharing a campaign, especially if you're playing remotely or other things, but you can see the actual dice that are being rolled.
That
You scroll all the way to the bottom.
So I would like everyone else to roll. Fun fact, the number you need to meet or beat to save this from this particular effect is 10.
Dave's dead.
Oh God.
Well-
You want the 20-sided die?
Oh,
The 20-sided die.
6.
That
I might have one, so I have 11.
I'm so
Okay,
That couldn't
11
have been-
saves.
Couldn't have been worse for you.
Said it was wisdom.
A 2 does not.
plus a 1
Damn it.
equals
Wisdom
3.
saving throw.
I had -1.
9.
9 fails.
9.
12 plus
12.
2 is 14.
14 succeeds.
6.
6 fails. So, the two of you succeed. You're the only ones who succeed. Whether it's because you are in physical contact with the other shrine, perhaps, or you're just a little more robust, maybe your dragon blood boils up a little bit in response to this effect. But the rest of you, as this louder voice starts to speak, you immediately fall to your knees. And the other voice says, Don't be crass. They are not game pieces. Yes, they are mortals, but they deserve our respect and our protection. The whispering voice then chimes in. Ah, always such a prude. You're the one who made the bet, and now you want to pretend that we're not playing with them. None of this is a game. They will enter the competition by their own will. Nothing is forced. If you say so, but when was the last time mortals felt like they had a choice in the matter? I certainly am not letting them out of here. Enough. It's time to speak plainly. And at this moment, the weighty presence of these two voices leaves your minds. You are able to stand, and both of the shrines next to you vanish in a flash of light, and standing in their place are two rather simple but striking looking creatures, beings, humanoid. To your left is what looks like you take at first glance to be a human, wearing head to toe plate mail, shining, polished bright, but relatively unadorned. His face mask is up, but it is very difficult for you to see his facial features. You can tell he is a he, you think. He's bearded, but it seems like every time you look at his face, your eyes seem to kind of slide off. It's confusing. But other than that, his physical presence seems fairly normal. To the right of you, appearing in place of the dagger, you see a figure shrouded head to toe in shadows. Trying to think of a good like anime or pop culture corollary here, but it's the classic, like, there's a robe here, but
Like
the
a
robe is
Dementor?
really like a Dementor, but less scary.
Okay.
So this is not a terrifying visage, but it's clearly a person, but you cannot see any of their features other than the fact that it is a person who seems to be wearing clothing that is made of living shadow, just sort of flowing around their body. One thing you can clearly see, though, is a bright silver dagger about this long, unsheathed, not in a sheath, just tucked in the belt of these clothing, and it seems to be glowing even outside the shadow. And you see two pinpoints of light that match the light that's shining from that dagger. And the two, well, anybody else who would like to is welcome to roll a religion check at this point. You already rolled a religion check, but if anyone else is interested, feel free.
Yeah, I want to.
Just go.
Okay, I have +2. 19, 21.
Whoa!
Okay, someone's been studying.
I have +4.
It's not a big religion.
Josh,
6.
you gotta
Hey, well,
stop.
Again.
You had a lot to drink tonight.
I rolled 2 2s.
I got a 12.
I have +2.
My guy's just hammered. 1.
Okay, now you're all right. So
Thieves.
So most of you are like, what even is this? Sir Boddington, you are like, okay, these are gods. We are
Yeah.
in the presence of deities. And whoa. Helm you recognize.
Oh.
The god to your left,
Okay.
you feel confident, is the god Helm, who is a god of protection. He is a god that people pray to in time of need. He's a god that warriors pray to before they enter the battlefield if they want to stay safe rather than slay their enemies. or actually rather, he would be the god that mothers, wives of those warriors pray to when their men go off to war, or in this world, their partner, men, women, doesn't matter.
He's the shield.
That's right. He's the shield. Alyssa, sorry, not Alyssa. I got to work on the names. We'll keep working. Lysandra. Yeah. You recognize both figures. You, as a bard, you've spent many evenings weaving the epics of the gods and telling the tales of the way that they interfere with and support the lives of mortals. And you recognize the telltale symbology of the god Mask, who is the god of thieves and urchins and the downtrodden who hide in the shadows. Mask is not by definition part of the good pantheon, but he is not known as an evil god, more of a trickster and a supporter of the downtrodden. This is the god that Aladdin at the very start of the movie would pray to, right? Down on his luck, street rat. Praying to Mask to help him get by, and to help him make do. But he's also the god of swashbucklers and pickpockets and the shadowy figures running across the rooftops to lighten the purses of the nobility. And these two figures seem to have a little arrangement that you've stumbled into. The two figures walk to the center of this abandoned monastery, and they turn and face you. And they say, first Helm, mortals, it is unsurprising, and perhaps even right, that you would be confused, even intimidated. Be at peace. You are safe here. Then Mask chimes in. Well, as safe as any place, right? Listen, Helm and I, we go way back. We got a little thing that we like to do every once in a while. It's more for fun. I mean, our definition of fun might be a little different than your definition of fun. And in reality, it might be a little more important than just fun. Helm interrupts him at this moment. This is not about fun, and you know it. World-shaking events loom in the near future. And the world needs your help. So, I ask you, will you stand as my champions and go forth to help protect the innocence of the land? Mask jumps in again. Yeah, protect the innocence of the land. Look, there's a lot of moving parts out there. You have an opportunity to get yours. There's some good, there's some bad, there's a whole lot of muddy in the middle. But you got a chance if you want to come over here and get involved in what I got going on, to maybe get your hands on the levers that move things, that make things happen. And yeah, take care of the little people along the way, you know. Maybe you've run across some people who've abused their power in the past. Maybe you've seen the way that money and faith and absolute power corrupts. Maybe you've seen the downtrodden. Hey, maybe you've been the downtrodden. Well, I got some ideas of how we could shake things up. Helm speaks up again. Mortals, at the end of the day, you have a simple choice. You can come with me and protect the world, or you can come with me and maybe mix it up a little bit, turn it on its head. But you should probably pick one of us. And at this moment, you hear one other voice. This is also not a voice that speaks out loud, and you're pretty sure that neither Helm nor Mask hears it. It's just a whisper. And the whisper says, "Or you could walk away." And that's where we'll end our first session.
Hey,
So you'll have some things to talk about as a party once Arundel gets a chance to listen to the launch. And
he's good for it. He'll listen to
He
it.
will.
He's probably listening right now.
he's just outside the window. I will get this recording uploaded